Hello and welcome to How I Play my level 85 Shadowknight. So let's get into this slight changes from the previous level 80 video, but nothing too fancy at all. So we're gonna go over spells, we're gonna talk about buttons, some new abilities we got, and maybe gear. We'll talk about gear too. Alright, so currently have Charge of Power in my top slot. This is just the current level of the power line of spells. When you cast this, it gives you Hate plus Armor class. Definitely worth having there. Next up, I have the current level Spear. It's 1956 damage now. Near instant cast. If we cast it on, I think Neza over there is the correct level. We can see here it's... Did it get resisted? Yeah, this is terrible. It gets resisted a lot. But whatever. It got resisted last video too. So next up we have Larkin's Bite, which does a mana tap. So it returns mana to the mana and health back to the group. So it's a nice little spell. Then we have Touch of Alanis on the next slot. 1300 point life tap, but this is the line that gives us hit points. It doesn't say how many. Oh, there it is. 894 hit points. So just, you know, I pretty much hit it on cooldown. Not a big deal. It's a nice life tap. See here, wait, cast it right. 2568 with all our current gear and mods and all that stuff. Next up, we have Dire Implication. Now, this is I feel like this is a new life tap line. I couldn't find anything like it previous. This one actually has a timer on it, timer 6. It's got a negative 500 to resist to magic, but it does 3600 damage. Now, let's pop this guy. We got near instant cast, critical 17,000 life tap. Now, that means it's going to heal me for 17,000. But as you can see, it's a 20-second reuse, which is great for our multi-bind, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Then we have Touch of Taroff. This is just the next life tap we have on our list. And then that's it. If you'll remember in the level 80 video, there was like one more life tap, but due to, you know, like lag and all the different activations, it was never activating. So I dropped it, and I think we're going to be good for this. We also needed a spell slot for Steely Stance. So next up we have Terror of Javelak. This is our current level Terror line of spells. Now the Terror line of spells is great because it does have a synergy with... God, what is it called? What is it called? There's a terror one. It gives us AC, is what it does, if I remember right. I don't know. That's why I can't see it. It's activate. Double check and make sure I didn't miss any of them. Let's see here. Cascading Theft of Life. Yeah, here we go. Cascading Theft of Defense. So this grants a chance to our terror line of spells to bless us with Cascading Life of the Theft, which absorbs 100% of incoming melee damage up to 250 damage per hit for 1250 total. So I cast Terror on cooldown, and there's a 10% chance we get this, so it's pretty nice. Next up, I have Blood of Larkin or Larthric, just our current level Poison Dot, followed by Dire Constriction, which is our current level Disease Dot. Now, if you know how I play, I don't use dots a lot, but when I do, I cast them. So it's there. Fills up 2 spots in the spell slots, but I don't guarantee I'll use them very often. Then we have our AoE Jolt, which is Burst of Spite. 30 mobs. It's pretty much everything in this area. Everything on the screen gets hit by it, so it's pretty nice. And that will just bring everything to us. and whatnot. So next up we have Steely Stance, which is a new line that we just got at this level 84. Steely Stance is a temporary hit point buff. Now, why would you want a temporary hit point buff? Well, I'm currently at 92,000 hit points, so at level 85, I feel rather beefy. And Steely Stance is a 5-minute duration buff that just gives us hit points. Now, this spell line goes all the way to 125, and eventually I think it gives like 50,000 hit points. I feel like that's what it is on my Paladin, right? Paladins and Shadowknights get the same spell, so it feels like 50,000. It might be like 25 or 30,000. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of hit points. The more hit points you have, the less chance you are to get one shot, is kind of like the theory here. So you want as many hit points as you can. So I cast this on cooldown. Now it's not in my bulletin bind or anything like that, because it is a 1.5 second cast. Now I could in theory just put it in the multi-bind, not even care, but you know, here we are. And then we have Malarian. Skin is our last buff here. Now, it's right here. In previous videos I was talking about the spell, but apparently it was never on, right? Like I have this, you know, over here, you know, like there's a lot going on with all my characters, because there was a mage spell overriding it and causing it to do less damage. Now, as a Shadow Knight, you want Malarian Skin over whatever anybody else is going to give you, because this one will absorb impact of damage and lower the amount of damage you take from mobs. So this is better for tanking and whatnot. So unless you have some kind of offensive reason to take the mage one, I can't imagine it to be true. You're going to want that buff at all times. Now, that is like all the spells I cast. Now, there's some AAs we're going to talk about here in a minute, but the other spells I cast, it's Minion of Sibyllus. This is our current level pet, and Gift of Sathir, which is the current level pet buff, right? So those are just other spells. I have these little macros to just auto-memorize a spell and cast it and save me thinking. Now, the multi-bind has changed slightly. So we did get some new disciplines, several new disciplines, in fact. Let's sort these by level here. Let's start at the top. Final Breath is the current level Feign Death, chance to not die. I don't know, I never use it. I use the AA or Death's Effigy. Death's Effigy is a new one we got at 85. And this allows us a 100% chance to drop all aggro and become invisible. So it's far superior to any of the other options, right? It does have a longer recast time. I don't know what it is, but I guess it's 2 minutes. So there is that, you know, to it. But if you've watched my videos, I don't really feign death as much as, you know, I just fight. And I play it a little different, but if you need Feign Death, that's going to be good. And then Death's Peace, the other option here, the other AA option, is fantastic. It is near instant cast. I believe it'll become instant cast, yeah. Like the next level, at level 90, it becomes instant Feign Death. So that's even better, right? Now, Final Breath, it still has the cast time, and there's a chance that it'll give you health back. So it is what it is. Next up, we got two spells that are both on timer 5. Now, I don't know the logic on this. I didn't look it up. I'm assuming one of these is from an older expansion and one of them is from a newer expansion. But if we take a look at these, they are literally like identical spells except for this right here. This one will fade after absorbing 260,000 damage. This one will fade after absorbing 25,000 damage. Now, in the current level stuff that I'm fighting, I'm getting hit for anywhere from 2 to 3k, 4k, 5k. It just depends. And 25k just doesn't cut it. So from what I understand, what I can guess, what I can gather from this without looking at the Alakazam spell list, Malarian Carapace, whatever the fuck, Spider Shell, it is, oh damn it, I clicked it. It is outdated now. Now we switch to Mantle. So Malarian Mantle is the new spell. It absorbs 260k. Now this is our mini defensive ability. It's absorbs 25k or 25% of incoming damage. For 260 damage. Now that's a lot. That's gonna last a little while. So that's a fantastic little spell. Next up we got Withstand. I have rank 2. But the gist of this one is that it is absorbs the next 2 melee attacks that will hit us, right? So kind of click on this, we can kind of get a little bit more detail out of this, as the discipline doesn't really have much to it. Now this is the rank 2 version, so the rank 1 might have a little different but withstand the next 2 incoming melee or spell attacks, reducing the damage done by 85% for 6 seconds, or until 975 damage has been absorbed. Now, if you think about this just takes damage off the top, right? I get hit for 1,000. This takes it down, takes a little bit off, right? I don't know the math. I'm not going to try to do the math. I'm terrible at math. So all I know is you want this on cooldown. Why do you want this on cooldown? So, synergy. So at some point in time, at a level 105, this will become, instead of withstand, it'll be named repel. And then you will want repel on cooldown, and from this point on, you're gonna want to be hitting this whenever you're tanking. You're gonna be wanting to hit this ability at all times. But it will then, when it synergizes at level 105, it'll give a 5,000 point absorption shield for spells or melee hits for 6 seconds to the entire group. Now the tank is gonna, obviously benefit the most from this, because he's gonna be directly taking the damage. But if somebody else takes damage, they will absorb it also. So it is a fantastic thing to just start getting used to, right? That's something I do in these videos, is I'm getting used to what I do at 125, right? Like, this is my paladin does the withstand, whatever it is called at 125. I can't remember. My mages are doing the same thing I'm doing on my 125s now. I'm starting to make it so that there's very little change that needs to be done so that we are ready to progress. And putting these abilities in there, like we already have the synergy, but we don't, it's going to help us long term to be better at doing this. So I do it. And so we dropped that. We got Mantle now. We got that. All right. So that's the disciplines we have at this level. The other ones still exist: Leech Curse, Unholy Aura, and Deflection Aura. Deflection is actually lowered in time by our breastplate. So as we get new breastplates throughout the game, we will use that. But definitely still use. They're all things that we will still use forever from this point on. And then next up, I have Courage of Power, or Charge of Power. Now, I cast this on cooldown because of the AC buff. Later on, there's a synergy, the improved demand for power, that will do something. I can't remember what it is, but it extends the duration. I don't know, really. It doesn't matter to me if I cast it on cooldown. It's like free, 125 mana. I regenerate more than that a second. Yeah, I'm regenerating 500. So I'm losing nothing there. Next up, I do Spear, which is pretty good, right? Big damage, Let's try it again. Is it gonna land? There we go. 4,000 damage. Not too bad. From a 1900 base damage spell. Let's see here. Then we have Larkin's Bite is the next spell in the multi-bind, kind of same as before. This one just gets that mana regen, that health regen, gives it to the group, which I feel like is a really good thing to have going. In my first playthrough with the Shadowknight, I was always running out of mana, and I never did any of this. I never did any of the other stuff that you can do. You can switch to the spells you get from Beza right here. Yeah, level 100, but you can just cast these now. They're like, you already have some of these, I believe. So you can cast some of these mana life taps instead of the health life taps and stuff like that. I never did any of that. I know I got suggestions when I was making the videos at the time to do it, but I never did it. I preferred life taps because it made me live longer. So, you know, it just depends on how you play there. Next up, we have Terror. And then the 3 life taps that we have left on the bar, Lannis, Dire, and Thorolf, they'll get cast. Now, we have some new AAs down here. So, Chattering Bone has been here for a while. It's the Swarm Pet spell. Bite of Chaos has been down here for a while. This is another one that restores mana and does a small amount of damage. It looks like 600 damage. It goes up to 900 next level, but with all our abilities, it does way more than that, right? So if we actually cast it, Bite of Chaos, oh, that only did 600, so I guess it's not focused by any of our stuff. Something new here is Ageless Enmity. Now, this is just a taunt. Now, if you know me, I put all my stuff on cooldown, like, and then my multiplind. Now, if you don't want to do it like that, you don't have to. I just do, so it's in my multibind. It's an 8-minute reuse, 500 point hatred, right? I just threw it in there. Like, at the end of the day, it's not gonna matter for a Shadowknight, due to, like, I don't even lose aggro. Like, it's crazy, and I have 2 AOE aggro things here. Like, it's crazy. It's just absolutely insane how strong this class is when you actually know what you're doing now. And then we have Projection of Doom, which summons a level 85 projection that generates 20,000 points of hate. And it's like a little mini pet, if you will. Let me just pop him out here, see if it does anything. There, it's this little specter right here. He's going to generate a bunch of hate, and then it'll be transferred to me. So just something else I can throw out there, and I throw it out on cooldown because I'm not really concerned about it. It's a 10-minute reuse. If I'm fighting, say I'm fighting something that really matters, right? I probably stop for a few minutes to med and make sure everybody's buffed before I engaged, right? You know, field names, like names that are inside of normal zones. No, there's not a single one that's difficult. They're all easy from pretty much from the get-go. There's a few in Ring of Scale that have some dots that if you don't know what you're doing, they'll destroy you. But from that point on, like, they're all trivial. The things that are hard are the names inside the instances, and I feel like in those cases, I'm gonna be a little bit more, you know, cooldowns ready to go, right? Or they're gonna be ready to go during the fight. So there's a lot of theory behind how I do it, and I just play to have fun, so it works that way. But that's all that's in the multibind now. So everything else on the spell bars here is pretty much the same. I changed the dot macro because I rearranged some of these spells, but that's it. We did pick up Hate's Attraction. This is a we got it 85, I think, and it will pull a target towards me. Might be useful. I haven't experimented with it too much yet, but we'll see how that goes as we do the next videos in the Hobbs and Friends series. Let's see here. We got Harm Touch, Leech Touch. That's still the same. First, Despite here, just so I can conveniently click it if I want to click it, and I have it over here if I want to push a button for it. Then we have Explosion of Hatred. We got this at 81, and I've been using it since. Like, this gives me 2 AoE taunts that are fantastic, like absolutely fantastic when I need it. And this is a new ability here. This one we got at 85, I believe. It's Visage of Death. When activated, it applies the Visage of Death form, transforming you into death itself, increasing your base melee damage by 200% and reducing the so this gives us I guess extreme melee damage. So I feel like there's another one. Yeah, that one does spells. I feel like there's something like this something gets added to this. If I remember right, it became like a defensive ability, but Maybe that's just what I was remembering on my 120 Shadowknight. I can't remember right now, but it's more of a burn ability. I don't, it's 24-minute reuse, so I don't have that in my multi-bind, but if we can even activate it right now. No, we can't even activate it right now because I'm buff capped. And that is like the biggest issue I have with the Shadowknight class, is that I am buff capped at all times. Now I don't even know what half the buffs are on me at the moment. Like I got ranger buffs on me somehow. I don't know. I must have, like, I was standing AFK in Guild Hall while I was like running around, buying spells and getting all these guys updated and stuff. So I got a few buffs here and there, but it's kind of crazy the amount of stuff going on right now. But yeah, it is what it is there. Now, this is something I wanted to talk about. I think I mentioned it earlier, weapon stances. This is something this is an ability we get now, this level. So we can swap these around and enable it and disable it. Now, so I don't even know, does it even take hold with being buff capped? Let me see here. I don't even see the buff. Maybe you don't need the buff? I don't know. Let's get rid of the symbol of celerity. We don't need that junk. There, can we disable it? And then re-enable it. There we go, there's the buff. Two-handed proficiency. Increases the damage you deal with weapons by 110%. It reduces the chance you will dodge, parry attacks by 60% and suppresses the effects of combat stability. Now, if we go to combat stability, if we find it here, what does combat stability do? Increases your armor soft capped by 60%. Right, it's kind of low right now. So our armor class right now is 2011. So it's about 200 AC. Let's just say that it's about 200 AC loss for more melee two-hand damage. Now, from this to this point, I've been using pretty much a two-hander exclusively. And at this point, I'm probably going to have to switch to one hand and shield for certain things that I do, because I don't want to take that loss when I have the stance not disabled, right? I like to be able to switch as much as I can. Oh God, where'd it go? This one, right? So now with a defensive, with a shield equipped, I should have got a new buff. I don't think I did. Here, let's disable it. There, it's enabled now. And then with a shield on, we gain a 10% chance to block, reduction in melee damage by 12%, and 20% chance that our weapons will proc. So it's kind of crazy, like the difference in that, right? Like, wow, he looks kind of cool with that axe. Not gonna lie, I haven't put it on since I got it. Looks kind of cool, but if we like take a look at this shield, right? Oh, there we go. So we lost 200 AC, but when we put the shield on, we gain 300. We go to 300 AC. So two-hander, we're at 2200. Shield in one hand, we're at 2300. Now, my theory is that I typically at this point on, I go sword and shield all the way to 125. I don't even bother with two-handers anymore. But that was with Paladin. And my original Shadowknight, I had to use a shield because he was dying so much because I didn't know what I was doing. So we're going to try it out. We're going to try it out with the weapon stances enabled going forward and see how much damage it, causes. It's only 200 AC, so it shouldn't be too much at this point. Later on, when combat stability becomes 100% extra AC and stuff like that, we might have a different thought process there, but we're gonna mess around with that and see how it goes, stuff like that. So we can disable it here too if we want, with just the button. Next up, we got an ability called Scourge Skin, which gives us a 450 point damage shield for 100 hits for 3 minutes. So that's pretty nice. I believe that that kind of synergizes with our other ability here. Where is it at? Intense Hatred. So it just increases the damage shields by 54 points. I got hit by the combat dummy, right? So he hit me for 8,000 damage shield right now. Let me see if I can thwack this guy a few times, see if he'll hit me. See if I can get a riposte out of him. Wow, I'm getting 8,000 crits with a one-hander. That's crazy. Guess we're not gonna see it today. Here, let's switch back. Let's take off some of this AC. There we go. No, does not look like. But you can see here, like the significant damage difference, right? I'm every hit's like 5k plus, except a few of them here and there, right? There we go, 10,000 with that on. So that's, you know, it's a crazy amount of damage, just from damage shields and stuff like that. So it all adds up. It all adds up. So there's that. We still cast Voice of Thule. I find this to be very nice because one, let's see if we can find the thing here, right? Voice of Thule. Does it give us numbers? Yeah, 20% extra hatred. So I do Explosion, I get extra hatred. I do Spite, I get extra hatred. I pull a mob, I'm getting that extra hatred at all times. So that is just, to me, it's very, very beneficial to the way I play. Because if you watch it's gonna be, I think it'll be the next video or the video before this one. I don't know how I'm gonna do it out, but where I go from 80 to 85, right? I kind of do some offline leveling because I did switch these characters, right? These are not the original characters that I had. I did switch them to my old Son of Thule characters, and I just race changed them and changed their names to the Hobbs and Friends because I didn't want to do some busy work over and over again that I had already done with these guys, i.e. the epic quests for the Epic 1.0. I didn't have it in me to do the Bard Epic again. I didn't have it in me to do Shadowknight Epic again, nor am I going to go sit in the lake of Ocean of Tears or whatever it is for the Shadowknight or Shaman one. So I don't know, Otis Ocean, whatever that is. But whatever, I'm done with that. I'm done with low level stuff. I'm doing that. So I switched these characters out. I did that. I power leveled them up with Gribble missions and stuff like that to get them everybody to 85 from there. And this guy just chain pulling the lizards in the Firot, the Dream, right? These mobs started red to me at 80, and I had no problem with them. As I leveled up, they got easier and easier, and then at 85, they were I think they were like yellow / evencon / blue, right? It kind of goes in a mix there. The names melted. I've never had an experience like this before with a character. The content is just so easy that I don't even know what's going on in some cases. But whatever we're doing, it feels like we're doing it right. So that's that. I kind of went off on a tangent there. And then the final thing, I do have a familiar now. I literally no idea where. I guess I bought like the Ring of Scale collector's edition, and I found it. So I'm or Empire's a Kunark. I don't know what this one's from, but this does give me an extra damage shield from whatever expansion this is. So it's pretty nice. And then I do cast Dark Lord's Unity. I think this is Asia. So I cast this probably once a session or a death, right? These buffs last forever, like 1 hour, 6 hours. This one's 10 minutes. Oh, no, that's not it. I think some of these aren't landing on me. Yeah. I can't turn into a skeleton because I have clarity, so. It is what it is there. Clarity is better mana regen at this point, so. But I think that's everything. I think that's that. So gear-wise, I'm currently using the TBM gear still. I was going to switch to the House of Thule gear, but I didn't have enough extra tokens that I'd farmed during that to get him a set of gear and then get everybody else a set of gear. So I went with everybody else to get a set of gear because they had the TBM gear without any augs, whereas I got 8,000 augs left, or 8,000 tokens left to buy more augs, and maybe some more on my necromancer. But this armor is not much better, right? Like if we look at, so this is 1,389 hit points. I believe Tawani here has the robe. It's like 300 hit points better, but if we compare it to the tier 2 House of Thule, it's only 100 hit points better. In fact, I bet if I had the tier 4 House of Thule gear, that would actually probably be better than this. But you would have to really compare those. You would have to be level 90 with a level 90 AUG. So it's a very competitive armor to what it is for anything else. And I will be replacing anything I do with the House of Thule stuff, because I do plan on actually 100%ing House of Thule and every expansion forward with this series versus kind of the just randomly doing stuff. So we're going to do that. But gear-wise, that's where we're at, and I feel like we're doing well. I haven't really struggled, except for some shaman healing here and there, but as I hit as I got closer to 85, the issue really went away. And when we get to the shaman video, we'll talk about that and some of the nicenesses that is a level 85 shaman versus a level 84 shaman and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that. But that's how I play my level 85 Shadowknight. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and we can talk about it. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.